Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, someone asked me to make a basic flatbed truck. And I thought, okay, so we're going to do that eventually. But why not? Let's try and make our own truck. Full stop. So what I want to do is we're going to go to home in the toolbox. And the first thing we need is a wheel. My internet is really slow right now, so we can make a car. That would work, actually. Here, let's take this car wheel. Ooh, it's a mesh. Is that gonna work? That it's a mesh? Let's see if this one is any better. Ooh, that one looks kind of cool. That mesh is cool. How about this one here? That's also a mesh. This one looks pretty sweet. Okay, so let's use. My car's probably gonna look more like it uses those tires than those tires. So let's do that. Okay, so we have our tire. All right. So what do we need? We need 4 tires, right? So we're gonna duplicate that there, and then we will duplicate this. Now, obviously, we'll work on proportions and all that sort of stuff afterwards. We are just trying to get the basic car. So we're going to group that as a model. Okay, and then in this model, we want to go, we need to insert a cylinder. This could be like our drivetrain. Let's see. Right, so in the rear axle is just going to be an axle, of course, and the front we need to do something different because we need to figure out how to make steering on this. And then we also want a suspension. So we're going to kind of go through all of that. I know with the A chassis it's all simulated, and that's really sweet. So what I want to try and do is see if we can actually make it ourselves and simulate it ourselves and just see how we go with that. There we go. So now this one here, we want to be can collide false. And then we'll move. We're going to duplicate it. Rotate it here. And that is essentially our drivetrain. The front is going to be a little different because we're going to need hinges for the wheels so they can steer. But we might not get there in this video. This is just probably going to be setting up the car itself. Okay, then the last thing we need is a block. We need the floor of the vehicle. Two, three, four. Put that inside our model. We'll call this car. All right, now we got to weld everything together. We're going to weld everything to there. All right, so that's all welded together, and then we also need to insert object. We need a seat. We need a vehicle seat. And then we'll just weld that like that. And that essentially is our vehicle. Cool. So now the next thing we need to do is attach the tires. So in our rear axle, we need to insert object. We need 2 attachments. And we're going to duplicate this. Okay, and then in the front, we also need to insert object. We need 2 attachments. First, we're just going to make it drive, and then we will make it steer. So it's going to be rear-wheel drive. Hopefully that's going to work. Insert object. Attachment. Okay, and then what we need to do is we can just drag these so we can see them. Right, and we just need to make a cylinder. create cylinder to there, and it's telling me that I need to rotate this like that, and we can take this part's position and we can make it this attachment's position, and there we go. Then we want to go from here, same thing, we'll make a cylinder to there. It says we need to rotate it like that, and then we can take this part's position and we can make it the attachment's position. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is take those cylinder constraints and we're going to group them as a folder and we're going to put them in the main part. I don't know what we're going to call that, and we're just going to call this drivetrain, and then this is going to be RL, and this will be RR. We just need that later for when we reference it with the code. Now, in the vehicle seat, we're going to go right click. We want to insert an object. We need a prompt, proximity prompt. And then inside the proximity prompts, we need some code. So we need to insert a script. In the vehicle seat, we need to insert a remote event. We're going to call this functions. And then we also need to insert a script. And we're going to call this vehicle script. We also need to insert an interface, a screen GUI, and we're going to call this drive. We'll call it car because a chassis is called drive, so we'll call this something different. We'll say call it truck. That's what we'll do. Now inside here we need a couple of things. We need an object value, we need to insert object, we need a local script, and that's it. And that is all we need to set up our vehicle. Now what this script does, this script activates the button and it will clone the interface to the player. So what we need to do is we need to say local button equals script.parent. Then we need to say button.trigger button dot. Is this the right? Oh, this is the local script. I'm like, what's going on here? We want to be in this script here. Button dot, there we go, trigger ended, connect function, all right. And what do we want it to do? We can say player. Now, what we need to do is we need to first bind this object value to this remote event. So we need to say UI equals script.parent.truck. We need to say UI dot value equals script parent dot functions. Okay. Then what we need to say is UI clone dot parent equals player dot player GUI, and then that way it's going to be we could check this. We could just check this. I know we didn't set up the front wheels, so they're probably going to fall off. Yeah, but everything else should be all right. So then if we activate it and then we confirm, there it is. Perfect. So what we're going to do initially here, because I was saying we need to set up the front tires, but right now we just want to get it to drive. So we won't have any steering with the front wheels just yet. So let's do this. Let's go insert attachment. And same this one here. All right, and then from here, we are going to make a cylinder. All right, we'll take that position, and we'll make this position here. And then we're going to create a cylinder in this one. And we'll take its position. Like that. Perfect. And hopefully they spin the right way. I'm not too sure. So we'll have to check all that. Okay, so now we can take this would be our right front. And this would be our right, or be front left. Front left, and this would be our front right. Just like that. And we can put that inside the drivetrain folder, okay? So now what we want to do is in our local script for our interface, we need to say local value equals script.parent.value. And then we need to say, So here's where it gets kind of iffy. We need to make the vehicle to go forward. So let me finish setting up these constraints. What we need to do is we need to set the limits, the actuator limits. All right, that works. And then now what we want to do is we just want to set the angular velocity, right? Let's see, if I set this to a motor, yeah, and then I just have to turn on the angular velocity for the two rear wheels. All right. So we could say, yes, we could say local mouse equals. Can I say? I guess I can't say player get mouse, right? Let me just open from file. I want to see how A chassis does this, because they get a few things from the player when they set up the code, and then they set it up so that way it detects when you've pressed the key and when you haven't pressed the key. So the first thing it does is it gets the player, and then it gets the mouse from the player, and then it has this user input service, and then this is the vehicle itself, and then this is a chassis tune. This is the modular script which has the variables in it. So we're gonna just take that code and we are gonna use it, and now we can say mouse, because we just want to test this, right? We can say button dot one down, connect, and then we can say function. And what do we want it to do? We want to say value fire server, and we'll say go. And now in our vehicle script, we need to say operate. We say local operate equals script.parent.functions, and then we can say operate on server event connect function, and we'll say player and our variable, and we'll say if variable is equal to go, then what do we want it to do? We want to say let's say we can say local drive equals script.parent drivetrain. So we can say drive.rr.angular velocity equals 10, and we can say drive.rl.angular velocity equals 10. All right, let's see what happens. So if I press the mouse button down, we should go. No, and it's the seat needs to be turned. No, nothing's happening. What if I turn this to if? No, mouse, stop button 1 down. Connect function. Yo, so it didn't give me any errors. So maybe it's, oh, you know what? I wonder if I if these wheels are anchored. They are. Look at that. All right. So now everything is unanchored. So they should spin. And they do. Look at that. Cool. Cool. So that was going in reverse. So we need to change this to -10 in order to go forwards. Cool. And then we can say, now let's see if we can get it to brake. So let's try mouse dot. We'll try, I know it should say button 1 up, but I just don't know if that's going to work. I was trying this earlier and I was having difficulty with this one here. So we'll say value dot value fire server, and this will be stop. And then if we say we might have to say else if, actually, for this one, else if stop then, and we want to change this to 0. Alright, let's see if that's going to work. Oh, it's absolutely perfect. So now we've made our own little vehicle. All right. So of course the difference between this and like A chassis, the A chassis, it has the gearing and it, you know what I mean, it simulates the transmission and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if I can necessarily do that. But that is pretty much it. Now we've made a car essentially. So now what we can do is we can look at suspension and maybe some other things. What I want to do is I just want to tweak this just a little bit. And let's change this to like 30. Let's see what happens. Because what I need to figure out now is how to handle, oh yeah, so let's do one more thing. So once you activate the script, we're going to do script, we'll say button dot enabled equals false, and then we'll say script dot enabled equals false for this one here, because let's say whatever you spawn it in and you use it, whatever your example might be. And this way it just turns off the button and the code. So as you can see, we have our interface here when we're sitting on it. Yeah, there we go. So the next thing I need to figure out is how to get it to fire. Let's see. It says user input service. So if we say user input service dot input began, connect function perhaps, And then I just want to see if this will work. First, we're going to test this value. But we'll need an if statement. So I probably need to say if enum.keycode is equal to w dot w, yeah, then maybe that's right. Let's just see if that does something. It took off by itself because it detects that I have. It's like, yeah, there is a W on the keyboard, so let's just go. So how a chassis handles this part is it does this function deal with input, and then it has input on there. So they do that instead of this. And then what they do is input.keycode equals. So it says if input.keycode is equal to so we have this instead. Oops, actually this should be there. Oh, come on. Now, what they have is, I need to say local w equals enum dot keycode dot w, and that might work. Now I need to figure out, so that's the that. That's what it's saying. Because we're trying to only get it to fire when we press the W key. So if I hold down the mouse button, it goes. But if I press the W key, nothing's happening. So what they've done is they have the W key. What they do is they say, if is on, right, which is like the car is on, and input.keycode control. So this reference here references a chassis tune, and where this is control shift down. So if we go into a chassis tune and we look at shift down, it's Q. Shift down equals, yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out how to adapt that to this. So that's basically where we're at now. How do we adapt this here? Input.user input state user begin. Let's see if we can add this here. Let's see. So it's just a matter of taking these few bits of code and seeing if we can make it all work together. No. Mouse still works. If input.keycode what if we just say WW? I don't want it to be confused, right? See, it works with the hmm. How do we handle the input of the user? All right, so let's just figure this out real quickly. I'll restart the music, and then if I can't figure this out, what I'll do is we'll just end this video here. This is going to be part one. Like I say, this is what we've built so far is we have a chassis and we have a seat. So you could turn this into a car, and then as soon as someone pushes the mouse button, you know, they're driving. But we need to get steering, and that's where we need to handle the A and D or the other input. So I'm not 100% sure how we get that from here. Right, because what it's saying, it's referencing this. And what this is, if we go back up to the top here, it's say control equals tune dot controls. So, and then if we look at tune, that is a chassis tune. So inside here, if we say show and explore a chassis tune, there will be somewhere in here, something called controls or whatever it is. So it's referencing this here. Tune dot all this stuff. And then what it does in here, it says tune dot weight scaling, braking, all that sort of stuff, right? This is how it auto start. So now, and the auto, so let's see, if user input service and not in controls, then ignore when then. Okay, so I wonder if I need this part here. This if statement here. Let's see. So it's a double if. Doesn't want to handle the input. Oh, there is one more thing we can do. There is one more thing I can do. Okay, we can exit out of here. And here, there's one more thing I can try. This will work. Okay, in one of my other games, I have, that's Project, which one is it? Winter Assault. We'll have to take a look at that one. Because in the interface, I've bound some of the buttons to the interface. So, Daddy's head. Oh yeah. So then what we'll do is we'll take the drivetrain and we'll attach it to a suspension, and then we'll attach that to a car body. figure that out. Come on, game, come on. All right. While we're waiting for that to go, it's something here. We're on the right path. I have it in this game. I just thought maybe this I don't think matters, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it does. Come on, game. Wow. Okay, well, while we're waiting for that, we could say, let's see, if we get rid of all of this, and then if we say ww dot oh boy, this is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let's see. I'm just trying to, okay, while we're waiting, let's see. Mouse button 1 down. I wonder if we can say, this kind of stuff works if we made an interface and we put buttons on the screen to drive the vehicle, this could work for that. Oh my goodness, come on, Roblox. I wonder if I have anything. I wonder if I have anything. Wow. Alright, let's see, maybe it's this one here. Give me a break. Give me a break. Come on. Well, I don't know what happened to my internet. Everything is just kind of gone this sort of way today. That is going to do it for this video. This will be part 1. Part 1. Let's see. If it's going to let me. No. Buggies 22. I think that's it. Oh. Gamers. Ooh, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So this one here, this one here. Where is my code here? This will work. Yes. Input began. Function input. If input key code. This is what we want. This is what we want. I knew I had it somewhere. Ha ha ha. All right. So what we're saying is UIS. This is actually going to be right here. No, don't do that. No. UIS. Okay, perfect. And then that's it. And then when it's ended. When it is ended. This is the other one. All right. So we have input began and we have input ended. Just like that. Something like that, maybe. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. We need an end to the function, and then we need an end to that, right? What's going on here? Yes, there we go. Okay, so in this case, it's left shift, but we are going to change this to, let's get rid of this here, and we are going to say W. All right, and then this one is also going to be W, and then now let's see if we can, this one's going to be go, and this one's going to be stop. So when we hold down W, it should go, and then when we release W, it should stop. Oh yeah, did you see that? W. Oh, perfect! Hey, there we go. Excellent. Now we have a vehicle we can drive with our mouse, or we can drive with our keyboard, and and I'm definitely going to be expanding on this in the next one. That is going to do it for today's video. So let's just recap what we did. We added some tires, and right now it's just rear-wheel drive. We created a frame, I guess you could say right now. It's just a frame. We added a prompt, which allows us, and an interface, and then some code. So the button needed some code. The interface needs some code. And the interface has code. So hopefully you followed along so far with everything. I know there was a little bit of a hiccup there in trying to find the code. So what we were looking for was the user input service. So it says input began, connect function. So when you press the button down, it connects the function. And then we say if the input type equals enum.keycode w, then if you just say this, if only enum.keycode w, it'll detect that there's a W key on the keyboard and the vehicle will go, and that's what was happening. So that's why I wasn't sure about this part. So this is it. So if you push the button down, then it throws the value. When you stop pressing the button down, it throws this value, and that's perfect. And so now we have a gas and a brakes. So in the next video, we're going to expand on that. We will add steering A and D to the front wheels, and then we will also look at a suspension. And then, of course, from there we will build a frame for the vehicle and probably a back. Maybe I'll turn this into like just a basic pickup truck or something like that. And maybe we'll see about making just a little game. We'll put a box in the back that you can add value to, and you can make stops along the way, and you can add value to the box, and you can make other stops along the way, and you can take value out of the box. I think that'll be really neat. Okay, so thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you all in the next one.